When did you first plan the stage version of The War of the Worlds?
Well, I think in truth, it really was soon after the album first came out, because my dad and I were partners on it. Not only had he been a performer throughout his career, singer and actor, he went into stage production, and I think he and I could really see right from the beginning that the War of the Worlds, in its structure and its content, if it succeeded commercially as a record, did have a natural life thereafter. Probably in the 70s, the late 70s when it came out, we were looking more toward the West End Broadway stage environments. Doing large-scale tours of the type we're doing now would have been out of the question, probably technologically, to achieve what we're now able to achieve. As well as the cost of so doing. So I think that's where we were heading, but it's always been in our dream to perform it live and to see it performed as a live environment.
So what kind of challenges have there been transferring the record album to the stage?
I think for this tour, it's been harnessing all the special effects that we are trying to integrate into a live performance piece. And I think what we've discovered is, because the tour itself is going to the largest arenas in the UK, as well as others that are perhaps half the size, it's trying to find a common denominator. So when you have a 30-foot fighting machine descend on the stage, it actually isn't bumping its head on the ceiling of the smaller venues. And sort of technically speaking, it's trying to put this puzzle together of its many component parts and actually fitting into every venue we go to.
One of the biggest changes for people coming to see the touring version, of course, will be the voice casting, because obviously some of the voices are different. Talk to me a little bit about the casting of the voices for this performance. Well,
it's a mixture, in fact, of a couple of people that were on the original record, like Justin Hayward and Chris Thompson, and it's probably because not only are they fantastic singers, I'm thrilled that they're actually involved in touring with us, but they played sort of timeless characters that don't need an age that is specific to a character. Justin plays the voice of the sung thoughts of our journalist. So he is just sort of a voice rather than playing a particular role of a given person.
The winter winds will be much colder. Now you're not here.
And Chris is representing the voice of humanity that is seeing this major battle that is depicted at the very end of the first half. So he too is sort of a timeless character.
Come on, thunder child. Come on, thunder child.
The others, though, they are age specific. So, for example, our artilleryman, he is somewhere between mid-20s and late 20s. And just like me, David Essex, who played brilliantly the artilleryman on the record, he's 28 years older, just like me. So there was a casting thing that is now for a visual character, not just a voice. That led us to Alexis James. He has the mixture of theater and rock in his background and fits right into the age bracket we needed. Alexis has convinced us all he will be a brilliant artilleryman for our tour.
And it's going to have to start with me and you. Yeah!
And so it goes with the others. Parson Nathaniel, his wife Beth. These are all people that are in their between mid-20s to mid-30s, in and around that period. And that's the sort of hurdle we had to solve to cast the characters for the stage.
Tell me about finding Tara Blazes. She's not a name that one would instantly think of.
No, she's a most talented singer from Ireland, and I was introduced to her through John Hughes, who also manages the chorus. So in trying to find somebody to play the wife of Parson Nathaniel, Beth, John said, would you like to meet Tara? And sent me a whole pile of her albums and pictures and reviews of her work, and she's really made the ideal casting.
There must be something worth trying for, even something's worth dying for.
Tell me about getting Russell Watson involved in the project.
Russell is somebody that I didn't know. I knew of. I knew his voice and had seen him perform on several occasions. But the connection comes through somebody that I knew at CBS Records when The War of the Worlds first came out, and who has subsequently gone on to manage a range of artists, Russell being one of them. And we started chatting and saying, telling him where I was with the show and who we had cast, who we had not cast. And he said, what about Russell? Met up with Russell for dinner in London, and he has now become our Parson Nathaniel.
When the demons arrive, and survivors will act be the dead.
What are you looking forward to the most about the live performance?
Finishing the tour in one piece.